So in this lecture, I'm going to show you how to use a co-editor for this course, and I'm going to recommend a few. So if you already know how to code and you have your own editor, you can go to the next lecture. Okay? So an editor that I'm using very often in my projects is called Visual Studio Code. I want you guys to, if you don't use it already, to start using it. It's a free co-editor. But don't get confused, okay? Just because it's free doesn't mean that it's not good. It's actually one of the best editors out there, believe it or not. Sometimes I can't believe how much stuff this thing has inside, how much functionality, and that it is free. Sometimes I forget. Atom is another great editor, okay? It's completely free. I'm showing you guys this so you can have this information. I'm gonna go back to Visual Studio now and in a couple seconds and show you how to use it. And this one is free. It's a really good one, especially when you're using Git or GitHub. Okay, this is when you know a little bit more about programming. You're going to be doing this. Okay, these are Git is a tool for versioning control to save different versions of your projects, and GitHub, it's where you send it so other people in the world can work with it all over the world. Okay, it's a website. Sublime Text is another good editor. This one is a paid one, so they do have a trial thing that you can trial period that you can use it for. PHP Storm is the main one that I use for PHP projects. Now this is an IDE, integrated development environment. Basically it has everything you can possibly need inside the program itself. You can connect to remote databases. You can have those databases inside the editor so you can edit them and submit the changes. You can even submit projects to GitHub, which is the place I told you about earlier in a couple seconds ago. You can do anything, FTP, whatever you want. But this has a free 30-day trial, but it's also a paid version too. This company JetBrains has a lot of different tools for any programming language you want. I use them a lot. I use the subscription based so that I'm able to download or use the other projects, okay, the other editors or IDEs. Now, the one that I'm using for this course later on, you're gonna see me using it, okay? I'm not using it anymore in the future. It's called Brackets. They're dropping support as the time I'm recording this video. So I don't want you guys using something that's going to be outdated or something that's not going to work 100% for you. Okay? So if you see me using this, later on, don't worry too much about it. Just keep using Visual Studio Code. Let's go back to Visual Studio right now and learn how to use it just a little bit. Enough so that way we can start playing around with code, right? So most editors are going to have a right-hand side where you work on the code, the window, the editor. And then on the left side, you're going to have some type of sidebar that you can either slide to the right like this, or you can click on some button and it's going to open it. This is the Explorer where you're going to have your folders or directories and files. Most editors, including this one, you just drop the folders in there, okay? Or you can just click a button to open it up. Or go to File and Open, okay? I'm just gonna drop it in there. And now I'm gonna take off this welcome window. I'm gonna make sure either I slide it open or I click it there and open it up. Now you can see the name of the folder here. That means the folder is there, but it's nothing in there. So I'm going to click on any of these, this one here to create files, and this one to create folders, to create something. In this case, a file. I'm going to call it index.html. Enter. If I right click on the file, I have many different options, including delete, rename, copy path, open with. I'm guessing that it wants me to open it with some type of application or maybe some type of different browser. And if you have any other extensions that have some different functionalities, you're gonna see the option here. In my case, I have an extension or a plugin called Live Server. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. and it gives me the option to open it up with that. I'm going to create a folder here so you can see it. Folder, enter. I can right click on this and rename it. And I just click it there and gives me the option, enter. I can right click it and inside there create another file, .html. You have to play a little bit around with this so you can get used to it. I can drop files in that folder. I can just grab it with my mouse and click on it and just leave it pressed and drop it in there, and then click move, and that folder, that file is in there. See? Now when we are writing files, another section of this is the extension. We're going to come back in a minute and study this a little bit. Can I click it again? So we have this index.html. This program here, I believe internally right now, at the time I'm recording this video, it didn't have it before, but I think it does it now. You're able to, you know, have abbreviations here that will create code for us. So we make it easier for us to write code. In this case, if I do an exclamation here, and notice that I'm not putting any spaces here. I make sure that you press on the delete keyboard and have no spaces here on the first line. And do exclamation and then tab. That's going to create this magical thing called HTML, right? Magically, right? And then if I write any HTML tag, you can see more options here, but and it says ML abbreviation. This was the extension that we mainly used back before in most editors to do this type of functionality. But I'm guessing Visual Studio Code is implementing this internally now, so we don't have to download it. But here you press tab and we finish writing the end tag for you. Okay, and then lorem, and then tab, and then you have this dummy text. This is called lorem ipsum. Okay, now I want to open this in a browser so that I can see it. Now, but I won't be able to see anything on the browser unless I save it. You see this little circle on top here? That means my file has not been saved. I'm not going to save it now because I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to choose Open Live Server. Now, this is an extension that I got that allows me to open my file that I'm currently working on the browser like that, right? Now, he also saved it for me, okay? Now, it doesn't do that after I create something else. If I write another lorem there, and if I don't save it, you don't see anything. It doesn't refresh the page. This extension refreshes the page. I don't know if by the time I'm recording this video, Visual Studio is already implementing this internally, meaning that you don't have to download the extension. If you still do have to download the extension, all you have to do, oh, and by the way, let me just show you. When you press save, it refreshes and you can see your work here. Okay, so almost forgot to show you the example. Then another one, and then you can go to file or the shortcut here, Command S or Control S, and then, okay. If you need to download the extension though, if you don't have it included in this program, Visual Studio, click on this here. This is the extension side, and look for it. It's called Live Space Server. They have a couple different ones. So this is the one that I got. I'll show you right now. So you can look for it. Okay? If Visual Studio Code doesn't have that anymore. They have different ones here. And they're going to have a little button that says install, and you just click it there. Sometimes you might have to refresh the page. Like for example, if I click on this, it's going to install it. And it should be working right away on this case, but sometimes some extensions you might have to, close Visual Studio and reopen it again for that to work. In this case, this is actually working without it. So I have this extension here, as you can see, Live Server. and I can disable it or uninstall it. I have also other plugins here installed already. So if I take that off, you can see the ones that I already have installed. Brackets, bracket pair colorizer. It makes your brackets, HTML brackets, whatever brackets, or programming brackets for your code, pretty. Okay? There are so many different ones that I have depending on the project, because I don't use Visual Studio for other type of languages. Okay, like for JavaScript, I use it a lot. For HTML, I use it Visual Studio a lot. And I want you guys to use it for Visual Studio for PHP code, because it's a really good one. All right, you can download a PHP IntelliSense, okay, extension. I already got this one. All right, so that way it helps you with autocomplete when you're typing in some type of functions in your PHP functions in your code. Okay, that's why this keyword here, IntelliSense, I don't know if this is, I think this is the name of the application there, but that's not how you write it. But this keyword here, IntelliSense, means that, you know, when you're writing the code, you complete it, okay? That's basically what it is. Every time you hear the word IntelliSense, okay? It helps you with editing features, code completion, parameter information, you know, many different features of your code. Every time you hear IntelliSense. But this is not how you write it, though. Okay, this is just the name of that plugin, I believe. I think this is how you write it. But anyway, so now for tricks on, let's just close this. And I'm going to make this smaller by doing Command minus. Okay, because that's kind of big for you guys, right? So there is a page here. Let's go to this page here. If I already told you, disregard, but don't download brackets. Anyway, so we have this Emmet cheat sheet, and I found it on Google by typing Emmet shortcuts cheat sheet. Okay, where you have all this stuff that you can do, all these shortcuts. Okay, for example, that one, if we write it here and we press the tab key, it doesn't do much. Sometimes it does this. Okay, this is a little bug. So I'm pressing the tab key, it doesn't do it. So what you need to do is make sure that you go back and then write it again and then tab, and that will do whatever you want it to do. In this case, it's doing, hey, in the UL we have, there is an li tag, and this asterisk means multiplication in programming, right? So let's close this. So I want you to write a UL tag with 5 li items. That's basically what it's doing. It doesn't work again. Let's just do this, and there we go. Okay, it's just a little shortcut. If I wanted some words in there, I just do this and enter. Again, the cheat sheet is in, just go back to the cheat sheet, and whatever you want to do, you're able to find it here. Okay, again, if it's not working for you, make sure that when you copy and paste it, if it's not working for you, like it's not working here, make sure that you go ahead and delete one item and put it again, and then tab. Simple. Okay, so anyway, there's a little tip there for you guys, so that way you can start writing code a little faster. But if I were you, I would forget about this for now, and I would just start writing the tags like this, so that way I can learn more about them if you don't know already. Okay, but if you already know HTML, which you should if you're taking this course, then this is going to be a great help for you. All right, anyway, thank you so much for watching this lecture. I hope that I was able to give you good information for you guys to keep going. Remember that to get the live server extension for Visual Studio Code, if when you right click it you don't see this option, open with live server or stop live server, If you don't see that option there, make sure that you download the extension called Live Server right here in the extension sidebar. This is the extension. Make sure it's enabled. Okay, or you can download whatever other extension you want if it, find another one that's better. And then when you right click on your documents, make sure that you have an extension, that your document is saved, so that way you can see the options there. And then look for another window somewhere, because it's going to open it up in the browser, right? It's going to open your code. And make sure when, the way this extension works is that when you save your projects, you're going to get this page refreshed and you're going to be able to see it. Okay? The brackets editor that I'm showing you on the next pages, this one here, did the same thing a little better, in my opinion, but they drop in support, so it's not good to download it. So, all right. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next lecture, guys. Take care.